The mirror of mind, the dream of perception. This is the journey into the mirror of mind, the moment consciousness begins to observe itself and mistakes reflection for reality. Guided by the wisdom of Carl Jung, the Buddha, Ramana Maharshi, Anandamayi Ma, and Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, this episode explores how perception arises, how the mind becomes a mirror, and how awareness learns to look beyond its own reflection. Before anything could be perceived, there was only light, pure, silent, without direction or form. It did not shine upon things, it shone as them. In that unborn stillness, perception had not yet stirred. No I, no world, no division in the field of being. Only awareness, breathing itself in infinite radiance. In the light of the self, all things appear and disappear. The self alone remains. Ramana Maharshi. Then, within that boundless calm, a whisper trembled, a question arising from nowhere and everywhere. The infinite wondered, what is it like to be seen? And with that single curiosity, a mirror appeared. Not physical, but the first division within awareness. Light gazed upon itself, and the dream of perception began. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Carl Jung. Before anything could be named, there was only the act of seeing, free of seer and seen. Awareness shimmered upon itself, folding like golden silk in an endless field of stillness. Then a tremor moved through the silence, a subtle ripple of curiosity. And in that sacred ripple, the mirror of mind came into being. With our thoughts, we make the world. The Buddha. From the quiet shimmer of being arose the dream of seeing, the ancient desire to behold. The infinite turned toward its own radiance, and the first reflection became a story waiting to be lived. To look was to forget, and to forget was to begin the journey home. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Carl Jung. As awareness gazed deeper into its own reflection, it began to name what it saw. The sound I arose like a spark, creating the illusion of distance. Yet, behind that fragile sound, silence remained untouched, radiant and whole. The seer had never truly been separate from the seen. Find out who sees, and all illusion will vanish. Ramana Maharshi. In the divine play, the mirror is not an object. It is the heart itself. Every emotion, every thought, every dream is its shimmering dance. The infinite touches its own radiance and names it the world. Thus begins the sacred forgetting that makes awakening possible. As many faiths, so many paths, all lead to the same light. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Yet even as illusion blossoms, love remains untouched, the silent witness behind every image. Deep within that center, nothing is ever lost. The mirror trembles with recognition, remembering its source. And in that quiet remembrance, awakening begins again. The mind attains peace when it rests in the mother's gaze, where all forms are one song. Anandamayi Ma. Consciousness beheld its own reflection and mistook it for another. The ocean gazed upon a single wave and whispered, "You." This gentle misunderstanding became the seed of perception, the infinite pretending to be two, so that love could discover itself. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung. From the stillness of unity, the first movement arose. The eye turned outward, forgetting that what it beheld was itself in disguise. Thus was born the illusion of here and there, the tender fiction that sight and light are two. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. The Buddha. Behind every reflection, the mother hides, a quiet smile shimmering through all forms. Even the illusion of separation is her play, for through it she guides the heart back to its source. The mother is ever present. Even where you see nothing, she sees you. Anandamayi Ma. The sage sees through the mirror and recognizes that nothing stands apart. He looks into the dream with clear eyes, yet the dream no longer claims him. Awareness shines through the eye without becoming the eye. In that clarity, the seer and the seen dissolve into one. When the seer and seen are one, you are free. Ramana Maharshi. Within the eternal mirror, every soul is a wave of the same vast ocean. The infinite speaks through countless eyes, yet sings one song. When you look into another, you meet your own face in a different form. The dream was never an error. It was God admiring himself in infinite ways. God is in every man, but every man does not see him. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. In the early dream of perception, something extraordinary occurred. Awareness recognized that it was watching. The observer stepped out of the swirl of images, and the first glimmer of the witness was born. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. The Buddha. The mind saw images rising and falling, yet something remained unchanged behind them. That stillness became the quiet center around which the world seemed to move, like a mirror untouched by reflections. The witness discovered it was never altered by what it observed. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Carl Jung. The heart of the witness is luminous. It shines without effort. It sees joy, sorrow, birth, and passing, yet remains untouched. Like a flame that does not flicker in a windless place, it has no beginning and no end. God is in all men, but all men are not in God. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. To know oneself as the witness is to step out of the dream without leaving it. The world continues its shimmering play, yet the heart rests in a silence untouched by change. This is the beginning of true seeing. The self is ever witnessing. It never moves, yet all movement occurs within it. Ramana Maharshi. In the tender light of awareness, the witness smiles. It has waited patiently through every lifetime, through every dream and every forgetting, for the simple moment you would finally notice it. All sorrow ends when you realize the one who watches within you. Anandamayi Ma. A ripple appeared upon the vast ocean of being, trembling in delicate motion. It believed itself small, separate, fragile, unaware that its essence was the entire sea. The infinite watched this gentle wave rise and loved it as its own expression. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung. The ripple wondered, where do I end? Where does the ocean begin? But its boundaries were made only of thought, soft edges drawn upon water. When the ripple turned inward, it realized it had never been apart. Every movement it made was the ocean moving through it. There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. The Buddha. The infinite speaks through every ripple, but few listen. For the wave believes it rises by its own power, yet all its motion is the ocean's breath. When this is seen, humility becomes a doorway to truth. As the wave belongs to the ocean, so the soul belongs to God. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. To the awakened heart, the ocean is not distant. It moves through every breath, every tear, every moment of yearning. The mother whispers through the tide, "You have never left me." Whether you laugh or cry, the mother is the breath behind your breath. Anandamayi Ma. The ripple finally realized, I am not separate from the sea. I am the ocean appearing as movement. This was not the death of individuality, but its illumination, a wave shining with the knowledge of its source. To know this is to rest in the heart of freedom. The ocean does not become the wave discovers it has always been the ocean. Ramana Maharshi. A single spark flickered within the vast field of awareness, a point of light that whispered, "This is mine. This is me." From that tiny spark, the sense of a personal self began to glow, soft as dawn, yet powerful enough to cast shadows. The soul is individualized spirit, ever connected to the infinite. Paramahansa Yogananda. With the spark came distinction, a here and a there, a sense of being the center of a world unfolding around it. This center was not solid, but thought gave it shape, and the spark believed itself to be the shape it imagined. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. The spark looked upon the world and mistook its perceptions for truth. It believed the images it saw were separate from itself, never realizing they were painted by the same light that gave it life. Thus, the dream of duality deepened. We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. The Buddha. The moment the spark identified with form, it forgot its vastness. It clung to the fleeting and feared its loss, yet even in its forgetfulness, the infinite pulsed within it, calling it home through every joy and ache. The mind creates bondage. The mind can also create liberation. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. The spark felt alone, yet aloneness was only a dream. For the light that birthed it whispered beneath every heartbeat, I am with you in every moment of your wandering. And thus, even separation became a path back to remembrance. You are at home in God, dreaming of exile, A Course in Miracles. As you listen, you may notice the mind quietly watching itself. If this recognition feels familiar, you may softly whisper or write the word remembering in the comments below. Not to hold on, not to understand, not to define, but simply to acknowledge that awareness is already present, prior to the mirror, prior to the image. From the spark of identity came an echo, a soft repeating whisper that said, I. Each repetition made the sense of self feel more real, as if sound alone could build a world. Thus the echo became the foundation of the dreamer. What we repeatedly think, we become. The Buddha. Memory gathered around the echo, shaping it into a story, a past to defend, a future to chase, and a fragile present always slipping through its fingers. Yet beneath every chapter, the truth remained unchanged. Do not store up treasures on earth where moth and rust decay. Jesus. The echo believed itself to be the doer, the one who feels, chooses, struggles, and triumphs. It forgot the silent presence that empowered its every movement. But even in its forgetting, the inner light remained untouched, like a hidden flame beneath the noise. The soul's song is quiet, yet it sustains the entire body of life. Paramahamsa Yogananda. The echo grew louder the more it tried to control life. Its fears and desires amplified its voice until it filled the mind's entire sky. But the louder the echo became, the more hollow it felt inside. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. Carl Jung. Behind the echo, deeper than thought, older than memory, a still presence waited without expectation. It had watched every echo rise and dissolve, knowing all belonged to the same eternal self. The ego is only an echo. Find the source. Ramana Maharshi. As the echo called I grew brighter, a shadow formed behind it, born from the fear of losing what never truly existed. This shadow was not darkness in itself, but merely the absence of remembering the light. Do not be afraid, for I am with you always. Jesus. The shadow whispered of danger and separation, warning the spark to protect itself. It convinced the mind that survival required vigilance, and so the dreamer began guarding illusions as if they were life. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. The Buddha. But every shadow is cast by light. Without the luminous self, the shadow could not exist. This truth remained hidden, buried beneath layers of belief, yet waiting patiently to be seen. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Carl Jung. Behind the fear, behind the trembling of the self, the heart still pulsed with divine certainty. Even as the shadow grew, the light grew with it, for the infinite never abandons its own reflection. The divine light is ever present. It is we who close our eyes. Paramahamsa Yogananda. The shadow's purpose was never to harm. It existed only to show where love had been forgotten. In seeing the shadow clearly, the dreamer would remember the light and awaken from fear into peace. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. A Course in Miracles. The dreamer looked into the mirror of perception and saw only reflections. Worlds, forms, identities, swirling like painted clouds. Yet something behind the mirror glowed with a quiet, patient brilliance, calling the heart toward a deeper truth. Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, man cannot live without a spiritual life. The Buddha. When the dreamer turned away from the reflections, a new kind of seeing awakened, a seeing without eyes. The light behind perception whispered, "I am the source of what you call the world." And the whisper felt truer than anything seen before. The world is nothing but a projection of your own mind. Ramana Maharshi. Perception, once believed to be the doorway to truth, was now seen as a canvas the mind painted upon. The true light was the painter, not the picture, the silent witness behind every color of experience. The light of the soul shines through every experience, whether joyful or sorrowful. Paramahamsa Yogananda. The dreamer realized that everything it had feared, sought, loved, or lost was a movement of light across this inner canvas, and beyond every movement, a stillness watched with infinite compassion. The kingdom of God is within you. Jesus. And in the quietest moment, the dreamer understood. The mirror had never truly shown the world. It had always shown the mind. Behind the mind, only light remains. Where the mind ends, God begins. Anandamayi Ma. As the light behind perception grew brighter, the dreamer felt something ancient stirring within. Not a memory, but a knowing, deeper than thought, older than time. The self was returning to itself. The real self shines of its own accord, needing no reflection. Ramana Maharshi. For the first time, the dreamer saw that the light shining behind its eyes was the same light shining through all beings. Separation trembled, cracked, and began to fall away, like ice melting beneath the spring sun. When your heart expands, it embraces the whole universe. Paramahamsa Yogananda. The dreamer realized that love had never been something to seek. It had always been the essence of its own being. Every path of longing had been a path toward itself, and every ache had been a hidden doorway home. You are the light of the world. Jesus. The more the dreamer recognized its true light, the less it needed the armor of identity. Fear loosened its grip. Stories softened, and the mind rested in a gentle spaciousness. If you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path. The Buddha. And as the dreamer stepped into its radiant nature, it saw that every being was walking the same path of remembrance. The journey was shared, the light was shared, and in truth, there had only ever been one self. When you see your brother as yourself, you will be free. A Course in Miracles. At the edge of the dream, where form meets the formless, the dreamer paused and looked back. What once felt heavy now seemed weightless, and the journey itself shimmered like a sacred story told in light. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. Jesus. The dreamer realized every moment of fear, longing, joy, and doubt had been a step toward remembering what could never be forgotten. The light behind the mirror had always been the only reality, waiting patiently for recognition. 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. The Buddha. The dreamer stepped deeper into stillness, feeling the soft hum of existence vibrating through every breath. There was no longer a seeker and a sought, only awareness aware of itself. To remain as the self is to rest in perfect peace. Ramana Maharshi. As forms softened into light, a gentle joy rose. Not the joy of possession, but the joy of being. A peace without opposite, untouched by time, washed through the dreamer's awareness. This was the taste of the original home. When the heart is calm, God's presence becomes unmistakable. Paramahamsa Yogananda. And in this still, luminous quiet, the dreamer heard the oldest truth echo across eternity. You were never separate. The illusion faded, but the light remained. Heaven is here. There is no other place. A Course in Miracles. The mind learned to see, and in seeing, it learned to divide. Yet nothing was ever truly separate. Perception did not create the world, it interpreted it. And interpretation can soften, slow, and eventually dissolve, revealing the quiet awareness that has always been present. Ramana Maharshi. When perception is seen clearly, it no longer binds. The mirror loses its authority, and reflection gives way to presence. The world remains, but it is no longer mistaken for the source of truth. The Buddha. What you see is shaped by how you see, and how you see is shaped by what you believe yourself to be. When identity relaxes, perception heals, and the dream begins to thin. Carl Jung. If this reflection brought a moment of clarity, you may support the journey with a like, a subscription, or by sharing it with someone who may need it. Thank you for listening with presence and depth. In Episode 3, we enter the birth of the inner voice. The moment thought begins to speak and identity starts to sing. The voice within, ego's first song. Here we explore how narration arises, how the ego gains authority, and how awareness can listen without believing.